Preschool Support Opportunities, an information film for parents. How can I support my child at preschool age? Under the joint responsibility of the Youth Welfare Office, City of Duisburg, School Inspectorate, Duisburg Primary Schools, Department of Education, Labour and Social Affairs. Office for School Education in the Duisburg region. The school is looking forward to seeing you. Information event, Preschool Support Opportunities. Hello and welcome. The team from the Office for School Education in the Duisburg region is pleased to present the film Preschool Support Opportunities to you today. This film is aimed at all parents whose children will be starting school in the next 2 years, i.e., children who are currently 4 or 5 years old. We show you tips on how you can best support your child before school. You will see the following people in the course of the film. Annette Quint-Langer from the School Inspectorate in Duisburg, Kira Kittner, Director of the Josefstrasse Municipal Daycare Center, and Haris Konja, Head of the Regenbogenschule in Duisburg-Marxloh. So that we can support them in the best possible way, we have compiled information on the following topics. How do daycare centres and primary schools work together? How can it be determined whether my child already speaks German well enough? Or, what should my child be able to do when it starts school? And above all, how can I support my child in a meaningful way? What if my child has special needs? And finally, where can I find the dates, information and contacts? When and why is a child's language level tested? The Education Authority obliges children to take the test who do not attend a daycare centre or whose parents have not agreed to educational documentation. Testing is done with teachers or socio-educational specialists, usually before the summer holidays. The children who have not attended a daycare centre are invited by the Education Authority to visit the Pifkus house in the nearest community primary school. This test takes about 30 minutes. Parents are welcome to be present, but not to intervene. If a need for support is identified, they are obliged to participate in language support programs. See this as a good chance for your child to be supported at an early age. Welcome to the children of Josefstrasse. My name is Kira Kittner, and I am the director of the Josefstrasse Municipal Daycare Center. We currently have 145 children in 7 groups in NRW, 2 years before they start school. The language level of all children is determined. It is incredibly important that the children all have the same good start in school. The educators here on site in our daycare centre. They observe the children in their normal everyday life and take notes. Based on these observations and notes, we support the children. We encourage children in fine and gross motor skills for the children so that they also learn well and can move a lot. The balance between intense interaction and relaxation is incredibly important so that the children can concentrate, because that is also a big part of school life. It is very important that the children are prepared to sit still, to be able to listen, and that is only possible if the children can also stay still and focused. You can simply see that fine motor skills, gross motor skills, are all interconnected, that they merge into one another. It is incredibly important for the children to learn or experience before they start school what it is like to fit into a group, not only to be alone at home with mum and dad, but also to be exposed to frustrations, to be able to develop empathy towards other children and towards the educators. This is incredibly important for the children's start to school. They learn to fit into the group in the kindergarten, to be able to wait, especially in the social games, that you have to take a step back. Someone else is going first, or someone else has just taken the swing. Ultimately, this also strengthens the children's self-confidence and self-esteem, which is the most important thing. When they are properly strengthened and know who they are and what they can do, when they go to school like that, then even if they can't write from 1 to 10, it's easy for them because they know exactly that they can do it. The transition from daycare to primary school is one of the milestones for children. What parents always notice is that after the first year of primary school, their children have changed so much and have grown up so much, learned so much. It's a very exciting change. Because it is a bigger system again, it has several rules, quite different and even a bit more than in the daycare centre. This means that an unbelievable amount is happening. In order for this very central transition to work well, it is important that there is good cooperation between the daycare centre and the primary school. This means that it is quite helpful if the educators and the teachers are allowed to talk to each other and exchange information about a child, so that it can also be perfectly recorded at the new location. Of course, this only happens if you agree as parents. Just talking about your child like that does not happen, but with your consent, this exchange can take place. Here are a few more tips on how you can support your child in a meaningful way. Experience everyday life consciously together with your child. Make a phone call together, look for numbers, letters, and try to recognize them. Early music education also has a very positive effect on learning development. Practice road safety behaviour at an early age and continuously point out the dangers. It is always good to play board games together with the child and also to be creative together. This includes being able to get dressed on their own, tie a bow, or do small tasks. Children need many primary experiences. This includes climbing trees, playing with sand and water, and having experiences in nature. All children who turn 6 by 3009 are required to attend school in that year. Parents usually receive a letter asking them to register their child at the school. In individual cases, there is still some discussion where we determine whether there are special support needs for your child. This is a first-grade classroom. About 26 children sit here together with the teacher. They work at their seats, but also at the blackboard, or sometimes with the beamer on the computer. The blackboard is always important, even today. Although we do a lot digitally, the children should be able to orient themselves in a day to always know what homework they have. What do we want to do today? Painting, crafting, or glue something. Another important point in primary school, especially at the beginning, is road safety education. This is very important to us, that your children come to school fit and healthy. Here is a good example of how we show children how to dress to come to school. Light-coloured clothing, in which they can be seen very well, is advantageous. And dark clothing, where drivers do not see them so well, especially in winter, which is not so desirable. To give the children a good start in school, we have also included many things that actually still belong in the kindergarten. We have a cosy corner where we really have more of a snuggle area in the first school year, but where the children then also sit down at the end of the first school year and in the second school year and read the first simple books. Many parents ask us, what does my child actually have to be able to do when he or she starts school? And it is very important for us to say to you that the letters and numbers are not yet so important. Your children learn a lot at school. What is more important to us are key skills that mean your children are already starting to become a bit more independent. You simply have to start understanding early on that your child is no longer a little kindergarten child, but a maxi child, a budding school child. Your child should already take on its first tasks at home in order to develop its first sense of independence. That means playing board games, but also doing chores around the house, taking out the rubbish, or maybe helping with the dishwasher and not being afraid of dropping a plate. Your child's independence is more important. And once again, the letters and the numbers should not be in the foreground. You can leave that to us. It is very important to us that your child can work together with other children. Social learning, learning with each other, has a high priority in primary school. You can also see from the tables that they are tables that you can always put in a different place, so that you always have different group partners to work with, to cooperate with. Your children should have already learned at home, or in an afternoon club, that they are not only working alone and at home, but that there are always opportunities to play with others, at home, for example. A membership in a sports club is very advantageous.
Zum Beispiel eine Mitgliedschaft in einem Verein, in einem Sportverein, ist sehr vorteilhaft.
Parents sometimes worry whether their child is already capable or able enough to participate in school. The concept of a child's ability to attend school, as it existed in the past, no longer exists. All children should attend school. For some children where there are special needs, then we would talk again to see what is the best place to support your child's educational needs. Basic skills, some confidence, and just that your child can do the elementary things that a primary school child should be able to do. For example, having a first idea of how to tie one's shoes. Just to have had a pencil in their hand every now and then, and to have coloured something. Those are the things that are crucial for us. All the other things, the technical things, that's where we come in, the professionals in the school. And that's where we look forward to your children coming to us and learning these new things. Providing support means doing something together, be in touch with your child. The topic of new media is becoming ever more important, even in primary schools. But we use iPads. We don't use games or apps. We actually use them like you would use a pen or a workbook. That's how we can work with the iPad these days. Your children will have enough time to learn this in primary school. In the run-up to your child starting, it is better to limit the media time a bit. For us, one very important thing is that nowadays, with the excessive abundance of media, they simply get a perspective on what they can actually do as an alternative, and not every family has the opportunity. But for us as a school, nature is a very important area. Outside, even if we don't have such good weather today, they always have the opportunity that children practice something without really having to practice. Just discover nature, exercise, and have a balance to all the time they spend at home. Inclusion means living, learning, growing together. Inclusion actually means that everyone learns together, all children, regardless of whether they might have a different linguistic background, whether they might have special support needs or special strengths. All children learn together, and every child gets what they need. That is called Section 1 of the School Act. Very importantly, every child has the right to individual support, that they themselves can learn happily and well at school. That is important to us. Now, it may be that a child has a very special need for support. In such cases, it is important to think carefully. Where can the child enjoy a successful time at school? And it is good if all those involved start talking to each other at an early stage, i.e., if you know or feel or are concerned that your child has a very special need for support, get in touch with the nursery school teachers in good time, and also talk to the school's management about this when registering your child for the first day of school, so that we can see together which path we should take for your child. It may be that your child is educated in one of the approximately 30 primary schools that embraces joint learning, or it may be that the special school is also the better place for your child. The needs of children can be very different. This may be that a child cannot see well, cannot hear well, is physically limited, or has limited motor skills, or has support needs in other areas. As parents, you can apply for this support need to be formally assessed, and then you decide together with the assessors after your consultation at which school should your child learn. No one can decide over your head whether your child should go to a special school or is taught in a joint learning setting. You as parents decide when it comes to how do I find the right school for my child. The rule is relatively simple. Short legs, short roots. It makes a child independent and self-confident if they can walk to school on their own. They also find friends in the immediate neighbourhood. The second rule is also relatively simple. It is known as see, hear, feel and speak. Primary schools sometimes offer an open day. Simply contact the school where you would like to enrol your child. All important dates and information, as well as the contact details of the contact persons, can be found on our website in several languages. The team from the Office for School Education in the Duisburg region would like to thank you for your interest and attention.